What's up, YouTube world? It's your boy J Dub, the #1 comment on YouTube, and I'm back with another review. Today, I will be reviewing Married at First Sight, Season 14, Episode 9. And before we get started with the get started, I know y'all asking, J Dub, why you dressed like Rick Ross? J Dub, why you dressed like Neon Deion Sanders? J Dub, why you look like MC Hammer Daddy? You know why? Because it's my birthday, So I told y'all I'm a Pisces. Pisces seasons, March 5th is my day. So I got to get dressed up, put the Drake on. I wear every single chain, even when I'm in the house kind of situation. So just having a little fun because it's my day. So let me get down to business. At least let me take my glasses off, let the people see me. So we're going to start with our last segment in Married at First Sight. I know it's a little behind. Schedule's been crazy. Let's go ahead and get into Mark and Lindsey. But now, before we get into it, for those who are new to my channel, I do Married at First Sight couple by couple. And Mark and Lindsey is the last couple for this segment. I don't do every single scene. I just go pull out little details that I saw or noticed, and as well as give you some details you may not have noticed, and that's where you come in. You get down in those comments, let me know what you thought, what I missed, anything that you want to say. We go back and forth and just have like a little fun and just say we keep it respectful between each other. I don't care how you talk about the people on the show. So, all right, let me go ahead and get into it. Mark and Lindsey. So we at the shared apartment, aka the cat house. You know, the 2-bedroom apartment with 5 cats. I can't imagine that. So the tension at home is like really thick. And we know why, because Mark and Lindsey had that big blow up at the bowling alley get together with the group dates. And, they haven't cleared that up. So Mark brings some carry out dinner for Lindsey. It looked like she getting off work in her ill-fitted dress or what have you. But before we go any further, I got a detail to point out. I just want to ask somebody who can explain this or speak on it. What's going on with Mark? Something's off with Mark, Like everything he do is like a quirky little kid. He get his steak dinner. He got to put a pound of salt on it. He got to put 2 pounds of cracked pepper and keep grinding it. Even Lindsey wasn't mad at him. That would annoy anybody. Like what are you doing? He cutting his steak. The knife and fork hitting the plate like he ready to cut through the countertop. It's just too much. And I know that's his phrase. Everything with him, it's a lot. It's a lot. He do it through the eyes. It's a lot. So Mark is making like small talk with Lindsey. He's kind of trying to feel her out or check the temperature in the room because he knows she's pissed at him. But if you ask me, he's the one who's supposed to be mad because Lindsey showed all the way out. But he had a fair warning. Her father told him several times that Lindsey's mouth is deadly. It's off the chain. You can't control it. You can't do nothing with it. So he's getting what was promised to him. So they both giving like one-word answers to their questions. They're really not talking. And Mark finally asked the right question. And I'm gonna say his first mistake. He asked Lindsey, "Do you feel like you were out of line at the bowling alley last night?" He could have phrased that another way. You gotta kind of know who and what you're dealing with. That wasn't gonna go right. But so Lindsey got right into it and was telling like Mark, like, no, I don't feel like I'm out of line. You like a real like Debbie Downer. With you, something is always wrong. And as far as being her husband, he doesn't like affirm her or tell her that she's doing something right or something good. And she's saying like Mark is really taking her out of character because he has like a toxic sludge. Lindsey ain't no joke. I'm gonna tell you that right now. She ain't nothing to play with. Like that mouth is something else. And Lindsey just flat out tells Mark like I'm so upset with you. And every time Lindsey is kind of bringing a concern since he asked, he's just standing there trying to absorb it. But then I guess he's getting offended by what he's saying or he's agreeing, but in a negative way, like same. Oh, you overtalk me, same. Like Mark doesn't have it. It's not that he's supposed to match Lindsey in the argument, but he's got to navigate his way in trying to work through that peacefully and understand. Because yes, guess what? any gripe he got about Lindsey, I agree it could be same, but somebody's bringing you a complaint. You don't tell them, oh, I got a complaint with you too. You got to work through that complaint and try to figure out how you move better. And if you have a complaint, bring it up later, not right now. Same. You know, somebody telling you. I hate that. That's ridiculous. So Lindsey pretty much, like I said, she keep breaking down Mark further and further and just saying like, dealing with his toxic sludge. She's like, your life is like in chaos. And Mark is like, no, it's not. And she's like, you got to be real. She had one of those, I'm going to say Lindsey had a Jasmina moment. She was like, now Mark, you know, like, now Michael, we're not doing this. Mark, you know your life is in chaos. And I believe her, but, you know, Mark is he's going to be who he is. He's in denial. And Lindsey's just saying, like, she pretty much feels appreciated and she doesn't feel cared for. And because she does all these things for Mark, but that's a problem in itself. It sounds like she does things for Mark for him to owe her. You know, to say like, oh, well, you did all this nice stuff for me, so I have to be this wonderful husband to you, or do all the things you tell me to do, or take all your those condescending comments and don't say nothing. And she breaks it all the way down. Lindsey's asked Mark flat out, like, so you got all these complaints. What is it about me that you like? You know, you're always complaining. And Mark was like, you know, he don't know what to do, because at this point, I don't think Mark really likes her. So he is like, you want me to tell you? That was the by time. You want me to tell you what I think about you? He says that somewhere in Lindsey, deep down inside, there's a loving and caring person. And he had no clue why Lindsey got upset about that. That's a backhanded compliment. Either you're going to tell a person, yeah, this is what I think, you're a loving and caring person. Like deep down inside insinuates that on the surface, we can't see that you're a really good, loving person and all that. It's buried within you. Other than that, we get in the ugly side, the uncaring and unloving person. So he didn't understand that wasn't an insult, but of course Lindsey was, and she lets him know she doesn't. She's not gonna hold her tongue, and she pretty much tells Mark, like, at this point, now she's completely like shut off to, or open to, like, trying in the marriage. She's got about like she was operating on 99%. Now she's got about 1%. And then Mark turns into Chris and is like, well, we can work with that 1%. You know, it's better than nothing. I'm like, no, you can't work with 1%. The person's not even trying at 1%, but it's a sign of desperation. Mark kind of goes along, and I'm gonna stop calling Mark the Shark, because I said that Mark the Shark thing is a character. Mark is really, he's a weak guy. Lindsey's way too much for him. Not that he should have to put up with it, but he can't stand his ground with her, because that conversation should not have even entertained, like, him apologizing or that he did something wrong. Lindsey was totally out of line. He could have discussed her feelings, but also let her know, like, the way she was going off and acting, he can't stand for it. He's not gonna go along with it. But again, Mark can't handle it. He'll listen to everybody's advice, but he won't take it on how to handle her. So they go to the next scene. Mark and Lindsey is pretty much, seems like they're getting back on track. Mark had made Lindsey some cheeseburgers or whatever, and she said that they were pretty much overcooked and taste like leather, but it was like a funny moment. She wasn't upset, and she even thanked him for doing so. And, you know, they have a conversation where, you know, the experts bring something to the door and you play these little games or questionnaires and asking about, have you ever been in love? And Lindsey said she fell in love before with a guy like she had moved to New York with, and he was very consistent and loving, but I guess somewhere the guy changed. And Mark says, like, pretty much he's been in love, and he had a struggle of, like, I guess, like, moving on, because he still had feelings for his ex. He would get into another relationship and find out, like, he regretted leaving his ex or not being with his ex, so he goes back and get her. And Lindsey really got, I'm gonna say, she got real judgmental on him. like they're opening up and talking about their past. Nobody wants to do that if you feel like you're gonna be judged. Lindsey was like, well, oh, I mean, so you're gonna circle back and recycle that, and I would never go back. And I'm like, Mark should have said, hey, well, that's your experience. For whatever reason, I didn't work through the feelings. I went back. It didn't work out. It was a mistake. But yeah, that's my mistake. That's my story, not yours. So it's like, when it's done, it's done. There's no way I could, ever go back. And I don't even know how Mark sat there and entertained the conversation. To me, it would have been over because, like I said, she's just judgmental. And then even in her confessional, she went even further, saying that like Mark is just a guy who kind of goes with what's comfortable and he settles. Like that was a big slap in the face when he shared what was going on in his past. I don't know how Mark, if he said yes on decision day, how he could continue to stay married to Lindsey. It would be beyond me. She goes way too far. And yeah, in marriage, you're supposed to be forgiving the person. You're supposed to be able to compromise and move forward. But Lindsey, I mean, she goes there. I don't even know. Like, you can see what she thinks of him. She don't think much of Mark. And Mark can tell, like, I guess especially after the conversation, like, Lindsey is really withdrawn from it, because before, like, she was all the way in, but they still continue with the experts questionnaire and asking what it take for each other to fall in love. And Lindsey said, the guy has to be present and he has to be consistent, and he can't shy away from conflict. He has to stand up, and that's pretty much everything Mark is not. So I don't, she let them know what she needs from him, but Mark isn't. So she might as well make the decision day to day, because that really isn't for Mark. I can't even remember what he said. Who cares? So so they do the girls and guys day out. The guys go to the archery place, to have fun, and the girls do a day spa where they get pedicures. Lindsey said they're going to what'd you say? Sharpen her claws. I thought that was funny. And Lindsey, while she's talking with the girl, she asked Noy about, one of Noy's messy IG posts, in which she's referring to Steve and saying like, well, when you marry someone, you have to understand you're marrying their inner child and their belief systems. Because obviously she's referring to Steve still want to be a kid, want to camp outside, don't want to work, and how much he stands in that, because that's what Steve believes. He's Mr. No job in camping outside, and that's what makes him happy. If you can't get with that, you can't get with him. So yeah, Noy's still making them little subliminal IG posts towards Steve. And they have the girls' day and the guys out, and we see another food scene with Mark and Lindsey. They always eating together. They always got to show that, like, I'm looking for something different from them. But I think it's around how Mark isn't familiar with food. I guess he ate goldfish and ravioli and hot dogs all day. I don't know. But they Mark took Lindsey out. He took her to a sushi place. He's really stepping up, because that's what Lindsey's like. Of course, Mark probably never even ate sushi. They didn't say that, but it's almost safe to assume. And he says it's a pretty fancy restaurant. It didn't look that fancy to me, but Lindsey was very happy with the place, the ambiance and all that. And Lindsey's already, she's in her mothering role, her mama bear. She always babies Mark. She's ordering for him. Like, she don't even give him a chance to look at the menu. And Mark's like, no, thank you. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. You know why? Because he feels like she always sets him up. And she definitely gets a kick out of that. But Mark acts like a little kid. When he gets the food, he's like, so what am I'm supposed to chew it? No, you're supposed to put it in your ear. I don't know what he thought he was supposed to do with the food, but he's playing right into that babying road. And Lindsey she's like I said, she just gets a kick out of it and just likes to see him like weirded out. Like you would give your little 7-year-old some sushi and they'll smell it and not want to eat it and just can't believe what you're trying to give them. But Mark finally came through of what Lindsey wanted. She wanted him to apologize. He did. She wanted him to appreciate. Mark got to do it. I think Mark had some index cards, or production had some cards behind him. He was like, well, I appreciate you, and I think you're a great person, and like that. So Lindsey was really, she took to that. She felt that. That's what she wanted. And it was good that he could make up with Lindsey. However, now you got this thing where Lindsey don't see what she did wrong. That's going to be a problem. So she believes going off like that, saying all them kind of crazy things about him in public is something that's to be tolerated when she gets mad. It's problematic, but Mark just wants peace at this moment because Mark just doesn't stand up for himself. So now we get away from the food, and Lindsey takes Mark on a date, and it's to a fun park. She was kidding with him before, like, oh, we going bungee jumping, and all, like, oh, no, you like to live dangerously and all of that. She's like you scare a little kid or something like that. That's what she loved, having fun with Mark. But she takes him to like a batting cage, and for a particular reason, because Mark, when he was in school, he used to play baseball, and she knew that was something that he liked, and it really kind of, I guess, put Mark in a better light because Lindsey could see that Mark knew what he was doing. And she was like, oh, yeah, he's looking strong like that. And I wish he put some of that strength on me. Lindsey still want to take it to the bedroom. She always going to say stuff like that. That's Lindsey. So, and I was surprised to see Lindsey was actually, she didn't know how to hit the ball, but she took instructions from Mark and it went immediately. And that's kind of like a bonding thing. And it helps the relationship where like she can trust what he say and it works. It goes right into play. Trust what you say and it'll go right into play. I made that up. But anyway, overall, like she was just impressed with him and he was in his element. It was a lighthearted date. They were on go-karts and all of that stuff, just having fun. And that was good to see instead of all that chaos. But I swear, I need to know. What is Mark going to do if he says yes and he sees that playback of her saying all them smart comments and then like degrading this man and talking about, his sex game and, I want to know. But really, I believe regardless, if he say yes, he just going to go with it because Mark is just a go with it kind of guy. Mark the goldfish. So that was pretty much it for Mark and Lindsey. I appreciate y'all patience and y'all stay rocking with me. This concludes the Married at First Sight segment for this week. So like I said, I need y'all down in the comments. This channel is all about the comments. Feel free. And as I always say, y'all could be anywhere in this YouTube world, but you're here with me. I really appreciate it and I really mean it. Happy birthday, J-Dub. Ha!